reading room. This is Dr. Annette Feravich, and we are here in the classroom, and we are reading the book, Letting Anna Go. Today is August 28th, and we are here in the classroom on day 139. We're here 15 minutes early, and likely that is what we're going to be doing from now on, is we're changing our schedule a little bit to shorten the class because it really is a long class when classes are an hour long. So we're here at 2 o'clock instead of 2:15, and that might be the likely schedule. I also need to tell you that, as you might know on the live version, I came back from the, whatever, I'm going to check the text for my car, and came back and didn't turn the video or the audio on. So I was just read. So I reread, recorded it, and now that is all up there. It's under video. So the reading room 138 is under videos instead of under the live. But you can find them all in the right order in the playlist. Should be. All right. So we are on Sunday, September 9th. Weight 118.5. I don't understand my mother. You'd think that after all she's been through, she'd see what I'm doing, what I'm trying to do, the sacrifices I'm making, and put it all together. You'd think she'd be able to see that I'm just trying my hardest not to end up unhappy and divorced. Instead, she's bound and determined to make me as miserable as she is. It happened after my run yesterday morning. Usually after I run, I feel better about things. But for some reason, when I walked into my bedroom and pulled off my sweaty clothes, I saw my homecoming dress hanging on the closet door, and I just felt panicked. I caught a glimpse of my body in the mirror, and it looked way too big to ever fit into that beautiful red gown. And the idea of not being able to wear that dress in 6 weeks when Jack comes to pick me up in his tuxedo made me start to cry. Usually I'm not so emotional, but I just run 5.5 miles, and all I could see in the mirror yesterday were all the places on my body that stretched against that beautiful red size 2 dress. I dug through my closet until I found a red marker and stood in front of my mirror just like I'd seen Jill do, circled every part of my stomach and hips and arms and chest that needed to go away. But it just seemed like the red circles on my skin made those places grow and swell until they were gross, sagging bags of fat swinging from my body. I started to cry harder, and right at that very second I realized I hadn't locked my door, just as Mom knocked softly and opened it to see if I was all right. I saw from the look on her face that she knew exactly what I was doing. I screamed at her to get out of my room, and she didn't say anything or move at all. She just stood at the door, her mouth open, but no sound coming out. I threw myself down on the bed and pulled my comforter over me and cried. I lay there for a long time, sobbing into my pillow until I thought she was probably gone. But then I felt her hand on my back as she sat down next to me on the bed. I thought she was going to lecture me. I thought she was going to tell me all the things I already know about what she's afraid will happen to me. Instead, she just helped me up and into the shower, and when I got out, there was a note on my pillow that said, "Come find me when you want to talk. I love you, Mom." I don't want to talk to her about this right now. I don't think I can avoid her forever. Monday, September 10th, weight 118. Mom was waiting for me in the kitchen just now when I woke up. She was standing there with a big smile on her face and had a bowl of oatmeal with yogurt and strawberries on top. There was one for each of us. She asked me if I wanted coffee, and I told her I was going to make some tea. Thank God Jill gave me this stuff because Mom forced me to choke down the entire bowl of oatmeal. When I put it all into the calorie track app just now, it was over 400 calories with the berries and the yogurt. I didn't try to argue with her. I knew that would just make things worse. Every bite felt like it lodged in my stomach, and I can feel it hanging there inside of me, making all the spots I circled last night stick out, making it impossible for me to fit into that dress. The food wasn't the worst part of breakfast. No, it was Mom's new rules. She went on and on about the dangers of teenage girls and calorie restriction and the girls she'd seen come into the ER who are so underweight that they can't hold a spoon and have permanent heart damage. I hadn't seen Mom this alive and fired up since Dad left. I have unwillingly given her a purpose in life now, keeping me as fat as she can. So now not only do I have to lose 8 pounds in 6 weeks, I have to do it in spite of being forced to eat breakfast with Mom every morning before I go to school. This is her new requirement for letting me out the door. Fine. I'll just get up earlier and run before school. I'll put myself on 2-a-day runs. I'll go in the morning before I have to eat breakfast and in the afternoon at practice. This is who I am now, the girl who doesn't back down. I will fit into that dress in 6 weeks. Nothing and no one will stop me. Not Mom, not oatmeal, not my lack of discipline. The tea just kicked in. Gotta run. Wednesday, September 12th, weight 118. Part of me is seething inside. Part of me wants to run down the hall right now after my mom and scratch her eyes out. I'm going to write until that part of me is silenced. That's the part of me that is out of control, the part of me that must be contained. That's the part of me that will cause me to lose it and go berserk, to stuff my face with anything it sees to make these feelings go away. I just got home from practice and passed Mom in the hall. Mom, did you talk to Coach Perkins? Yeah. Everything okay, sweetie? Me, Parmesan smile. Yep, everything's cool. Mom, good, I love you so much. I left you a barbecue chicken breast and some mashed potatoes on the counter. Thanks, I'm going to take a shower. Have a good night at work. The fact that she called Coach Perkins makes me want to throw things. I closed the door and listened for the garage to open and close behind her. Then I hit my bed with a pillow about 20 times. When Coach asked me to stay behind after practice, I saw Vanessa's eyes shoot over at me, and I just knew she was hoping I was going to get into trouble. Coach was pretty calm about the whole thing, just said Mom was concerned and she wanted to make sure I was being truthful about my calories. Coach, you're running better than you ever have. I just want to make sure you can keep it up. Me, everything is fine. Mom is just worried. I've lost a few pounds. Coach, I know you've had a hard summer, but I want to make sure you keep winning. You have to eat right to make that happen. Me, I'm eating a ton. Coach, winning is not more important than your health. My face was so red it must have looked like it was going to catch fire. Vanessa tried to follow me to my car, but I walked right past her. She and Jeff still eat with us every day at lunch, but I can barely talk to her. She just doesn't understand. She doesn't get it. Jill just texted me back. I'm going to meet her at her park to do the workout, right after I bury those mashed potatoes in the outside trash can. Thursday, September 13th, weight 117. My mother is going to destroy me, she announced this morning over yet another bowl of carbohydrate-filled oatmeal sprinkled with fattening, sugary, dried fruit pieces that she had decided to transfer to the day shift. Why? Well, me, of course. She thinks I must be fed like a toddler. After talking with Coach Perkins on the phone about our little chat on Wednesday, she thinks it would be best if we spent more time together, especially dinner time. I could barely contain my rage, but I did. My lip quivered and my Parmesan smile failed me, but I managed a nod and a quick "great, Mom," and kept from shattering my bowl in the sink until she'd gone upstairs to get in the shower. By the time she was done, I had cleaned up the porcelain shards and was on my way out the door to school. As I pulled into the parking lot, I took a deep breath, knowing that surely the very worst part of my day was over. I'd been up since 6 a.m. after all. I'd run a fast-paced 5-miler, then showered, pooped, and weighed myself to find the scale and said I was exactly where I'd been yesterday. Then I'd had to suffer through yet another breakfast while dealing with the worst news ever from my mom. This means she'll be hovering over me in morning, at breakfast, and again at night when I usually don't have to eat anything after school. Now I'll have to contend with her at dinner at 8 p.m. I cannot eat that late at night, but no matter. I was finally at school. Jill brought me more tea bags. Then they kicked in during second period. We planned and strategized. We would meet at workout every night after my cross-country practice. I do double the running and double the workouts. From here, everything would look up. Nothing could make the day any more terrible. Then Vanessa sat down at lunch. She reached across the table in front of Jeff, Rob, Jack, and Jill and grabbed my hand. Vanessa, concerned, how'd it go with Coach Perkins? My blood froze. Rob, how did what go with Coach Perkins? Nothing, it's fine. Did she ask you about your food diary? Me firmly. Everything is fine. I don't think I could have shot a more fierce look at her across the table, but it was like Vanessa was operating under a force field. I just worry about you. You and Jill never eat very much. Jill icily. We eat plenty, and it's none of your business. Vanessa turning to me. It's just that you're so, Jack, beautiful. It wasn't like him to jump in or even really pay attention to Vanessa, but all of a sudden his arm was around me and I felt the warmth of his body on my shoulder. His gaze silenced Vanessa and Jeff made some sort of stupid joke. Then Rob jumped in and started talking about the limo the guys want to rent for homecoming. Jack kept his arm around my shoulder during lunch and walked me down the hall to my locker after we left the cafeteria. Jack, she's just jealous. Me, really, I'm not worried about it. Jack, she just wishes she was as fast as you or as gorgeous. He reached down and lifted my chin and kissed me lightly on the lips right there in the middle of the hall. I went straight to the park after running and workout with Jill. Mom still has a week and a half on the night shift, so when I come home, I did the whole workout again in my bedroom. Then lay on the floor staring at the red dress in the clear plastic wrapper. All I could hear were Vanessa's words in my head. She acts so concerned, like it's her very own Lifetime movie, and she's the best friend trying to keep everyone from going off the rails. How dare she bring up my weight or my looks or my eating habits in front of Jack? I looked around my room at all the little girl crap that is still everywhere, and I couldn't stand the clutter anymore. I don't want stuffed animals in my bedroom. I don't want cute and cuddly. I don't want anything that reminds me of my dad or my mom's knick-knack crap all over everything. I want things to be clean and organized. I raced down the stairs and grabbed garbage bags and started filling them up with all the lacy frilly crap my mom puts everywhere. The flowers she dried for me from Valentine's bouquet she gave me last year. The silly spoons and bells used to bring back from all over the country when we went on vacation for my collection. This crap was never mine. It was hers. I hauled most of it out to the trash. I kept a bag of stuffed animals and put them on the shelves in the garage next to a plastic bin of Christmas decorations. Then I vacuumed the dust and straightened and organized until my room looked like a place where I wanted to be, a place of clean, sharp edges and symmetry, well arranged with nothing but the absolute essentials, and the red dress hanging on the closet door reminding me that I can do anything, that I must do anything required to stay on track. I can feel the places that I circled with the marker pulsing on my skin as I write this. I can feel that all my hard work today has paid off. I hope the scale won't tell a different story tomorrow. Friday, September 14th, weight 115.7. I am almost halfway to my goal. When I saw the scale and this morning I knew I was doing the right things. At school, Jill agreed and hugged me when I told her how I was only 5 pounds away from 110. She texted me a link to a page of negative calorie foods during second period. Negative calories supposedly means that it actually burns more calories to digest the food than the food contains. The result is your stomach is full, but your body burns up the calories from the food as you digest it. Today at lunch, Vanessa and Jeff were right behind me in the lunch line at the salad bar in the cafeteria. My plate was piled high with the foods on the list Jill sent me: apple slices, celery sticks, and raw spinach. Vanessa, how are you going to make your calorie requirement for Coach if you're only eating apple slices and celery sticks? Don't you want some protein? I pulled a bag of gummy fruit snacks out of my purse and tossed them onto the tray. I hadn't put one in my mouth for at least a couple months, but she didn't need to know that. I like having them in my purse because it reminds me that I'm the one in control. At any moment, I could reach in and pour pure corn syrup down my throat, but I don't. Vanessa looked at the fruit snacks, then up at me. I could see the suspicion in her eyes. Me, see? I eat. Lay off. She opened her mouth again to speak, Jeff nudged her and shook his head. Maybe Jeff is smarter than he lets on. Tuesday, September 25th, 114.5. I hate myself for begging. That was the worst part of it. I never want to be reduced to that again. Vanessa was waiting for me in my locker today before we went to practice. I was grabbing the printout of my calories from the CaloTrack app when my ring slipped off my finger. It's from Tiffany. Mom gave it to me for my 15th birthday last year, and I turned my books into my locker and hit my hands and knees. Everybody around me in the hall kept walking and tripping over me, and I saw the ring get kicked twice before I finally nabbed it. I didn't understand why Vanessa was helping me direct traffic. I didn't understand why Vanessa wasn't helping me direct traffic or find the ring until I stood up and saw her face. Apparently, all of my books had tumbled back out of the locker, and she had scooped them up. When she did, she saw this notebook, the original food diary. Her face was pale. She looked like she was going to cry. She held it out to me as I walked back toward her in the locker, a sinking feeling in my stomach that turned to panic. Wait, Vanessa, wait. What is this? What are you doing? Vanessa, it's not that big of a deal. It's not. It's a big deal. It's a very big deal. You are going to tell Coach right now, or I will. That's when I started begging and bargaining and promising her anything. She finally said she wouldn't tell Coach on one condition, that I start eating again, every meal, every bite, enough calories, the recommended amount of 2,200 per day for my height and activity. She made me promise. She made me swear. I've still got 4 pounds to lose before 2 weeks from Saturday. I don't care what I said to Vanessa. I'm going to make it happen. Wednesday, September 26, weight 114. Today is Mom's first day shift. She looked a little frazzled, and I think it's going to take her some time to get on a normal sleep schedule. She just buzzed around the kitchen dropping things, and it took her 3 tries to get to the car after breakfast. She kept having to come in and get stuff, keys, sunglasses, wallet. Something I realized as I sat there eating my required breakfast in front of her, she wasn't really watching me. I took a bite and then swallowed it, then took another bite and spit it out in my napkin when she wasn't looking. She didn't even notice. After that, I realized I could throw most of my oatmeal away in my paper napkin. When the bowl was empty, I took it to the sink and rinsed it out. She kissed me on the cheek and scooted out to the garage for the 3rd time. I made another mug of ballerina tea to keep the bites I did swallow moving on through me. I have no idea what to expect tonight. Later, dinner. That's what I had to expect, and of course she made a big deal of it. She insisted we go out to get burgers at Buster's. I got a protein style, and I didn't get any fries or onion rings. Mom chirped on and on about how great it was to finally work days like a normal person and not feel like a vampire. She's very excited about getting to spend more time with me and talk about all the special dinners we could have together. She totally understands that I want to eat healthily, so she talked and talked and talked about the food she was going to make. I'd never been so happy to see my phone light up when Dad called in the middle of her lemon pepper chicken recipe. I pointed at my phone and said, "Dad," which stopped her mid-sentence. Then I took a huge bite of hamburger and held it in my mouth as I slipped out of the booth and answered the phone and the wad of ground beef on one side of my mouth. "Dad, hey honey, glad I got you on the phone." "Hi, are you eating? Did I call you at a bad time? Hang on." I pushed through the bathroom door and spit the huge bite of burger into the trash can. It was quieter in here. Me, "Hi, sorry, Mom and I are at Buster's." Dad, "Oh, great. Listen, I was wondering if you wanted to come over and stay the weekend at my place, or maybe even Friday night. We could go to your meet together on Saturday. I finally got the guest room all set up," and his voice trailed off. I just stood there waiting. It felt like I was supposed to say something now, and I didn't know what. I hated these silences between us now, like it was somehow my job to be perky and cheerful and make everyone feel better about the crap they were putting me through. "Dad, you there?" Yeah, maybe some other weekend, Dad. It's just this weekend is really busy. I know you work late on Friday and the meet is early on Saturday and I have a date that night. A date, huh? Yeah, Dad, I have to go. Okay, sweetheart. Well, maybe the next weekend? Sure. Maybe I'll look at my calendar. Maybe I'll look at my calendar. He told me how he loved me and then he hung up. All of a sudden my stomach cramped up. I raced into a stall and threw up the bites of burger I'd eaten. Turns out there's a silver lining to phone calls from Dad after all. Okay, I think that's where I'm going to end. Sunday, September 13th. Wait, 113. This is Dr. Annette Feravich. We are reading a book by an anonymous person who wrote this book, Letting Anna Go. Yeah, it's kind of sad. I hope we don't have to let Anna go. But we don't know what her name is. I don't think. Maybe we do. Dr. Annette Feravich, I'm here in the classroom, and that is the conclusion of day 139 on August 28th. I will see you tomorrow because we're on 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And we, as in me, are then off for 4 days where you are able to digest the information, maybe do a deeper dive on some things, and talk to family members about what you've learned. Thanks for joining me.